I'm Jake.
Alex.
And the new Jurassic World movie is about to come out, so I figured let's react to the Nostalgia Critic's 2015 review of the first Jurassic World, the start of the continuation trilogy of the Jurassic Park franchise. And before we start, let's just say I love Jurassic Park. It's a childhood favorite of mine.
Yeah, also one of mine. Maybe not childhood, but teenage favorite of mine.
You would have been a teenager when it came out,
yeah.
So it counts. The sequels aren't as good, but they mostly got some enjoyable perks. This review kind of stands out because it was the first review that Nostalgia Critic ever did where he reviewed a movie that was still currently playing in theaters, and to work around not having access to clips because it's in theaters, he took his actors that he works with, Malcolm Ray, Tamara Chambers, Jim J. Ross, his brother Rob Walker, and they reenacted the movie. It was the first review he had ever done like this, and it got a mixed response when it came out, but he's done many more since, and people, I think, really responded to them.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the film myself, but it sounds like an interesting angle how he dealt with the circumstances.
Yeah, and also kind of saves him the trouble of dealing with copyright
Always,
ID.
Yeah, the bane of everyone's existence.
Yeah.
YouTube police.
So without further ado, let's watch, and before the review starts, there's this little montage. I've seen it, he hasn't, so it still counts as a reaction.
Alright.
The beginning is a montage of fan submissions for this DVD cover for this thing they were doing at the time. So, here we go.
2015, you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of DVD.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Sin City style.
Still like the sunglasses one. That one's good. Yeah.
Brazil.
Huh.
It's Doug's favorite movie.
Ooh, that's good.
Also Sin City. That's freaky.
Yep. The eyes. Well, they're all freaky. But there's a lot going on there.
And that's what they went with.
No?
Not my personal choice, but
I agree.
I do.
Guy remembered, so you don't have to. And yes, you read that correctly. We are reviewing Jurassic World. But you might be wondering, how the hell can we do that if it's still in theaters? Well, this ought to explain it. Hello. I bet you're wondering why we're reviewing this movie now instead of waiting for it to come to DVD. Well, the answer is quite simple. You see, Hollywood now sees us as a threat. Taking down several of our videos on YouTube because they forgot reviews are part of fair use. Some of these videos have been put back, but others are just seen as too dangerous for your fragile minds to handle. Thus, every single time we've done a Jurassic Park movie, even if we end up praising it, Hollywood has always taken it down. Mr. Glasses, I have a question. Why, if it isn't my good friend, Mr. Puppy the Puppy. What's on your mind, Mr. Puppy? Hasn't Hollywood realized that by doing this, they look incredibly desperate and unprofessional? I mean, even your reviews of bad movies have led to higher sales due to your exposure. Oh, Mr. Puppy.
It has.
Yep.
I bought it.
Well, what's more important than freedom of speech being threatened by insecure goons? Complaining how their freedom of speech is being threatened by
Math
insecure
textbooks.
goons. You're kidding, right? But as we said before, the review must go on. I mean, do they know the meaning of irony? So rather than do a review just to have it taken down anyway, they do remember Soap on Napster, right? They're going to reenact scenes from the movie to give you a better idea of what we're talking about. But Mr. Glasses, the clips allow people to judge the film for themselves. While your reenactments leave an emotional, even bitter mark on the material being reviewed. None whatsoever. Gee,
He did something like this back in 2008 when he had earlier copyright issues.
So enjoy our incredibly unbiased review of Jurassic World. You know, your accent sounds a lot like Carrie Elway's with a dump truck shoved up his nose. Enjoy. You heard the man. Reviewing the Jurassic Park movies has been a big tradition around here. We're not gonna let Hollywood stop it. So, rather than wait for it to come out on DVD, we're just gonna jump right into it. This is our take on Jurassic World. The movie opens up with our main star of the film. Not Chris Pratt as Owen, not Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire, not even really the dinosaurs. No, the star of the movie is the park. The amount of detail they put into this place is incredible. We finally see it open. It's like Disney World, only less people probably die. It's phenomenal. So, I know what you're thinking. If the park looks this good so many years after the original, imagine what the goddamn dinosaurs must look like. It's been 22 years since the first film's groundbreaking effects, so how the hell are they gonna look now? They suck. Like, wow, do they suck! It's some of the worst CG the movies have ever cranked out. They look like cardboard cutouts. No, wait, even that would have some three-dimensional qualities to them. They look like mist, like a cloud of fog in the shape of a dinosaur. There's a scene where a kid is looking at dinosaurs through a viewfinder, which, by the way, you're 13. What the fuck are you doing looking through a viewfinder? They look more three-dimensional than the ones in the movie. Hey, wanna know why? Because it was really there. It was really fucking there. I mean, okay, they're little models and they don't look very convincing, but I feel like I can touch them. I don't feel like I can touch any of these dinosaurs. I don't want to touch dinosaurs, but nevertheless, oh, shut up! I want to be able to feel like I can pet a dinosaur. That's the wonder of Jurassic Park. And here's the thing. I'm actually not anti-CGI. I mean, Ex Machina, she looked like a real robot.
Oh,
That
what a good movie.
totally made me believe that David Schwimmer could act. But with the other
Also a
Jurassic
good
Park
movie.
movies, we use animatronics and CGI. This fools the eye. It makes it more of a grand illusion. We've gotten too used to CGI. So when we see it, we know it's CGI and we know it's not there. But here's the other weird thing. They said they use animatronics in this movie. But outside of a scene where Littlefoot's mother dies, they all look so flat and unconvincing. How can this be if they used animatronics? In my opinion, they CG'd over the animatronics. They look at the animatronics of, say, the
Too
raptors
much,
in the muzzle
yeah.
cages and say, you know what? I want the eyes to blink a little different or the mouth to move a little more. Let's paint CG all over that shit, and now there's a veil of shade all over what used to be believable. But I know what you're thinking. Who cares? I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, who cares? We want to see cool dinosaurs do cool dinosaur things. Even if they look kind of fake, we want them to do cool things, right? Well, I'm going to take that argument and store it away here for later, because trust me, that'll come back in a bit of time. But let's actually get to the story. Now that the park has been open for a while, people, it seems, have gotten too used to dinosaurs.
Oh my god, this black chick who's a white chick is a white chick.
I found somebody rude on the internet!
Oh my god!
No. That's right.
Some things don't change.
The CEO of the park named Simon and the manager of the park named Claire trying to figure out how to fix this.
We need to up the sales. I need you to make me a dinosaur so badass that if it escaped, we couldn't possibly stop it.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
We've seen raptors and stegosauruses before. This is creating a brand new dinosaur specifically to look awesome. They don't have to follow any rules. It's not like they did before anyway. I mean, the Dilophosaurus, yeah, you nailed that. But they're using science to create whatever the hell they want. My God, imagine what you could do with this. The body of a T-Rex, the wings of a pterodactyl, the neck of a brontosaurus, the head of a triceratops, lions for hands. And hey, just to sell more tickets, give it bazooka boobs. Come on, we're clearly in bullshit science here. We can do whatever we want. Okay, I know they're not going to make something quite like that, but it's going to look amazing. And they've been building it up in this movie for quite a bit. So, after tricking the security guard like an 80s prison movie, no, really, he's got the sandwich and everything. What does this monstrous, terrifying abomination of science look like? A big raptor. I'm a dinosaur.
Running joke.
It's about as unimpressive as you can imagine. You know that Photoshop tool you can use to make things bigger? That's pretty much all they used, except they gave them a few more bumps on the back and made him a little paler.
Oh.
Ooh. Even the made
To be fair, a giant raptor would be scary.
Indominus Rex because it's easier to pronounce.
You know what's even easier to pronounce? Cotu, and that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the Cotuosaurus. They openly admit it's trying to be something bigger and badder than the T-Rex, but it looks so boring and fake, it can't measure up. But actually, to Cotu's credit, it can do some cool things, like camouflage, lower its body body heat,
Yeah.
which, of course, the scientists have no fucking idea about. Oh my god, we watched him for birth, kept him in captivity, and know everything there is to know about him. How can we possibly know everything there is to know about him? This is
Yeah.
where the two kids come in, because by shit, we always need fucking kids in these movies. But to their credit, they're not that bad. It's more the idiot adults that surround them. You see, their parents are getting a divorce. Oh, yeah, sorry. So they spend the weekend with their Aunt Claire, who's obviously a little busy herself.
Hi, Claire. I just wanted to make sure the boys are okay. Oh, well, actually, they're not around me right now, so. Whoa, Jesus. I just thought you'd bond with my boys. Listen, sis, I'm trying to make sure that the park doesn't eat itself. It's just really hard with my divorce hearings right now. You're calling me during your divorce hearing? Actually, they're telling me to hurry up right now. Yeah, don't call me when you're busy with that. That's a touch more important. Not as important as my want for you to like kids. Oh no, a T-Rex ate a baby. Gotta go.
Of course, the kids aren't alright because they're written like little dumbasses that go off into restricted areas in their American Gladiator
Who's
role that
that?
for some reason has no track. Okay, taking out the obvious safety of the two people inside, especially two children without an adult in a ball without a track, how is this safe for the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
People in go-karts, imagine throwing animals in that.
Their little ride thing.
Oh, hit it again.
Yeah. Yeah, they can just move about the park. There's no restrictions.
Oh, jeez.
Anything is there is not the least bit frightening. Yet the boys end up escaping. So Claire tells Owen, the raptor trainer, about her missing kids in Code 2. Oh, after they share some amazing on-screen chemistry. We did it once, remember?
Sure do.
And that's it. That was the on-screen chemistry. On the one hand, I'm happy they didn't argue like those dysfunctional pussies in Twister, but on the other hand, why have them interested
Whoa,
in each
whoa,
other at
whoa.
all?
Twister.
I mean, I'm not gonna ever
Don't
pretend
bad
That's
mouth.
off
was
limits.
that great, but they at least talked and hugged and smiled and shit like that. Here, they barely even look at each other. They show one kiss in the middle of the film, but then go back to acting like they're not a couple again. It's entirely pointless.
Summer
I mean,
blockbuster.
Fucking bizarre concept, but if you have a dude and a chick in a movie, they don't always have to hook up. I mean, if you got a
Blade
romance
pulled it
like,
off.
It's not like a checklist. In Aliens, Ripley doesn't need to turn to Bishop and be like, I love you. It'd be totally out of nowhere. It just wouldn't fit. And I know what you're thinking. That's as crazy as the part CEO of flying a helicopter into certain death.
He does.
You probably weren't thinking that by the end of the segment. The owner decides he wants to help stop Coke 2 by flying a helicopter to shoot at it. They even played this triumphant music like, yay, he's doing the smart thing. But despite everybody telling him he's going to end up dying, he eventually ends up dying. Oh, no. Yeah, for a businessman, that was a pretty dumb move on his part.
I agree. Don't badmouth Twister. That movie is a fucking classic.
Commercial break.
Where it would have been.
This leads to a bunch of pterodactyls being released, and... Okay, remember that argument I was talking about before about having the dinosaurs only do cool stuff? Well, here, let's bring that argument back in. This is the cool stuff I'm talking about. The pterodactyls are attacking people. Why is this awesome? Because it's taking it to the next level. We've seen dinosaurs eat scientists and people with guns in the jungle, and we're sick to death of it. Here, even though it's obviously fake, it still looks really cool. They do some legitimately creative awesome stuff. They pick up civilians, fight over them, drop them into the water, only to have other
And it's
dinosaurs.
awesome.
It's fucking fantastic. Even Claire machine guns down one of them, saving Owen's life. But of course, the little kids are like, "We want to go with you."
Wow, thanks. That's really great to hear.
Fuck you, little shits. If I saw my
If it's a girl, it ain't cool, as they say.
So okay, all the people in the park are in one location, and all you can eat dino buffet just waiting to be ripped to shreds. The opportunities right themselves. What terrifyingly awesome thing. Nothing. We never see those people again. They just stay in this one giant spot, this fucking salad bar of deliciousness, and we never ever touch them again. What do they do next? Well, something completely different, really new. You've never seen this in Jurassic Park movie. They go hunting dinosaurs in the jungle. Right? Right? Pushing the fucking envelope here. Because, hey, remember, there's an evil scientific hybrid that needs to be stopped. Oh, I'm not talking about the dinosaur. I'm talking about Vincent D'Onofrio being successfully combined with John Malkovich and every early 90s villain ever. I want to weaponize these raptors because I'm the obvious bad guy. I adjust my belt buckle all the time. No, we don't care. We don't care. We just had seen where pterodactyls played hot potato with people's heads. Why would we care?
Yeah.
We know he's the bad guy. We know he's Is that repeating what we've seen a fuck ton of times in the other films? Do we expect some new developments? What am I talking about? One of the biggest developments in the film is coming up. And I mean, this is like a huge twist they've been building up. They used the raptors to find Code 2 and somehow think these tiny things are gonna take it down. When they finally put 2 and 2 together. And remember, this is a big shock.
God, that dinosaur that looks like a raptor, acts like a raptor, sounds like a raptor, and moves like a raptor. I think it's part raptor!
Yeah.
No. No. No.
Go ahead, Doug, breakdown.
You can. Yeah.
I mean, look at the damn thing! Of course it's for fucking raptor! It's like 90% fucking raptor, you goddamn morons! You know those sponge dinosaurs? The ones you just add water to make them grow bigger? Well, don't show that to anybody here. It'll completely blow their minds. They'll be like, what's that? Oh, that's a triceratops. Come on, everybody knows that. Oh, you're gonna add water? Well, I don't know what that is. Oh my god! What is that? What is that? Oh my god! It changed into something completely unrecognizable! I mean, I'm amazing at what I do, but this is beyond my comprehension! Oh my god, what is that?
It's gonna have an aneurysm.
He's probably had 20 since he started the show.
Raptor attacks D'Onofrio off screen where he's PG-13 to death, leaving only our main stars. Well, them and thousands of other people next door, but that'd be no fun involving them. But suddenly, Claire goes to this giant door and says,
I'm the computer comic relief. Open up the door.
"You're insane! You're insane!"
Just do it.
This guy was a horrible
Suddenly,
character.
the door starts to open up. There's nothing but darkness facing her. Huh? Holy shit, could it be? She stares into the black unknown while lighting up a flare. Holy fucking god! Is it? Is it? The motherfucking team!
Couldn't have predicted that.
Towards Coke 2, and original Coke is like, fuck you, bitch, I'm the motherfucking T-Rex! The motherfucking T-Rex! I'm the motherfucking T-Rex! So there they are. Raptors, giant Coke 2 Raptor, and the motherfucking T-Rex all in a kick-ass, incredible showdown. Hey, we're gonna do this. We gotta do this right.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Honest trailer voice.
Honest trailer voice and your own reviews on your own channel, plug. But I need your help.
With what exactly?
Oh, I need a voice as epic as yours to narrate the climax of Jurassic World.
The motherfucking T-Rex scene? Done. The T-Rex takes a bite out of the Pussysaurus, but the Pussysaurus bites back. The T-Rex slams that bitch quickly, but then the bitch trips into the ground. The T-Rex then starts taking several bites to the neck.
Oh, jeez.
One of the raptors jumps on top, freeing the T-Rex. She knocks the head back, slamming Pussysaurus into one of the overly priced restaurants. The T-Rex then says, "You cannot defeat such awesomeness."
Wait. The T-Rex is female, isn't she?
Well, she's a female who happens to sound like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, okay.
You cannot defeat such awesomeness. My amazing kickassery cannot be contained. Your opponent roared. Then the motherfucking T-Rex roared. Then a mechanical T-Rex came in and burned them alive.
Okay, I know that did happen in the movie.
Who's got the cool voice?
Okay, sorry.
But they survive the blast and blowing up with their own fire breath. T-Rex then gives her opponent one more chance. Surrender or face the age of extinction. No response. Thus the motherfucking T-Rex replied, "Then go, fish." Suddenly that cool Jaws dinosaur who saw her earlier comes up and eats the living hell out of that piece of shit. The battle is over. T-Rex and Raptor, two sworn enemies, acknowledge that their honor has been satisfied and live to fight another day. Oh, and some stuff with human characters happens, but who cares? T-Rex climbs to the tallest building on the tallest mountain overlooking the park, lets out one more triumphant roar, turns to the camera and says, "I am a motherfucking T-Rex."
Is he laughing or crying or both?
Damn you, movie! God
Definitely
damn you.
both.
Yeah.
Not only did you create one of the coolest scenes in any Jurassic Park movie ever, but you totally made up for that shitty-ass fucking idiot sequence in Jurassic Park 3! Yeah, remember when the T-Rex dies to the Who Cares-osaurus just so they can sell more toys? Well, this scene takes all the fucking idiots who thought this was a good idea, grabs them by the ear and says, come here! No! No! That is not how you do a T-Rex fight, movie! That is not how you do a T-Rex fight! This is how you do a T-Rex fight, you bad idiots! Those are bad idiots!
Well, how do you really feel?
Damn it, movies! I was just about done with you. I swear, it was over. I was just about to head out the door and be like, I'm sorry, Jurassic Park sequels. This abuse can go on no longer. You promised
Did it
so many
need to be
wonderful
made?
things for us,
Yeah.
and instead you hurt me. You hurt me time and again. Well, no more. Goodbye, Jurassic Park sequels. But what if I made the greatest T-Rex fight ever? I'd say I'm falling for your bullshit all over again. Love me, Jurassic Park sequels!
Unlike a
It's
domestic
like
abuse
Frost
metaphor.
said, the majority of the interviews aren't very good, but the last few minutes practically makes up for all of it. I guess really the film's not the worst. I mean, it is well acted, looks nice, and does have some remarkable scenes. I just wish I didn't have to sit through so much boring stuff to get to those scenes. If you want to do a suspense film, great. Make the effects better and give us more scary scenarios. If you want to do a B film, great. Go all out. Make some totally insane choices. Make the whole film as good as that last 10
Yeah,
minutes. But this
lack that
happy
identity,
ending?
it sounds like.
Why can't I quit you, Jurassic Park sequels? I guess as the films go, it is the second best out of all of them, but given the other two, that's not a phenomenal feat. A lot of choices they make do still piss me off, but I'm not going to be shocked if other people like it. For a lot of people, it's stupid in all the right ways. For me, I didn't think it went far enough. Except for that ending, which, like I said, is totally worth the price.
And the pterodactyls.
Yeah, I realize this review is all over the place. Should you see it, should you not see it, but hopefully you can gauge some idea if this is the right movie for you.
So, is that it then?
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing else to reenact. Though the studio that owns this does also own 50 Shades of Grey, and it's
Yeah.
unlikely to let me use the pledge for that.
No! No! Okay, no.
I think she said no to Doug's puppy dog eyes.
Is about to explode.
Come on, fucking T-Rex!
Be sure to subscribe to this crazy guy for his movie reviews and check mine out on my channel. Because I said so in my cool voice.
I'm ready for a best of your respect, 'cause I'm a gridlock, man, the best of flex, not Jonah Hex,
Oh,
over
jeez.
Dr. X, or even Luthor, I'm a Lex, I'm a motherfucking T-Rex!
It was this review that introduced me to John Bailey and the Honest Trailers.
His voice is iconic.
Oh.
I think it's Pep Raptor!
Well, I have some mixed feelings about the review, but
Garrett, feel free to express them.
I think he did the best that he could, not having seen the film, but I think it does miss some of the, gravitas with not having the clips themselves. I like some of the creative angles and creative license that he took with the reenactments that he did, but it just lacked some, there were some places I think it really just needed that movie clip.
I agree, to an extent. I prefer the full-on clip reviews, but this was an interesting experiment,
Sure.
and he's done many of these reenactment reviews. Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, the Ghostbusters remake with the all-female cast.
Yeah.
And about half of those I really enjoy. The Batman v Superman one is pretty spot on. If you haven't seen it, it really sums up the gist. Yes, there's the obvious restrictions of being a low-budget internet show, but I did enjoy this. I know the reception was very mixed, but for what they had to work with, I thought it was, again, a very fun attempt, and some parts a little questionable, but my favorite gags, I think, were Rob Walker reenacting Vincent D'Onofrio, where he's like, I want to weaponize these raptors. And there's this fun behind the scenes video where you see him doing that smile, like the slight bounce, and Malcolm says, he looks like Buzz Lightyear.
Well, good point. I think the best thing about the review is you definitely, I think even more than the clip shows, you get the passion for the movie, you know. I think that came through even more than in his typical reviews.
And an interesting thing to note, Doug originally quit being the Nostalgia Critic in 2012, and he tried to start this new show from the ground up called Demo Reel, and it was a show where he played a guy with a team of actors. Malcolm Ray was also on that. Rachel Teets, who was the original actress. It was about a filmmaker remaking Hollywood movies on a low budget, and people did not respond well to that show at all, and it only lasted 5 or 6 episodes before he brought back the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
And you look at the reenactment reviews, and just even with the normal reviews where he has a sketch here and there,
Yeah.
he essentially, over time, morphed the Nostalgia Critic into something similar to what he wanted to do with Demo Reel.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because there are elements of that in his usual shows. I feel like he just sometimes just goes a little bit too over the top, not having the clip to splice in there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still good to watch.
Yeah, and again, like you said, you can see the passion, and his behind-the-scenes videos are good. I guess inspiration or enjoyment, just intriguing to watch to see how they make it. The thing about again I really like is John Bailey. He does have a great voice.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when they ask him, he's like, "Done." And
classic Hollywood voice.
And when Doug called him to get him to do the cameo,
Yeah.
the voicemail he got for him, he did it in his Optimus Prime voice.
Oh.
Malcolm, Tamara, they played their parts well.
I agree. I think they did a nice job.
Not the most dimensional movie characters.
But it wasn't the most dimensional film, right?
Yeah, so they expressed that aspect of it well. Tamara, I think, stood out in that scene where she played both sisters on the phone. Why won't you like my children? And Doug, he was funny when he held the hot dog like it was a gun. They make a good point. They make a lot of good points. I've seen Jurassic World, unlike you, and I can say I did like it. I watched it with my grandfather, and we both enjoyed it. Yes, it's got problems, but I honestly think it's the best Jurassic Park sequel.
Do you? It just feels like at points it's like you get this feeling, did this film have to be made? You know, but
I think
they got a couple of good ideas and pieces they add to the franchise, but
I do think a Jurassic Park sequel all the years later, I'm not sure it was needed, but it wasn't a terrible idea. Because, I mean, it's a franchise about giant dinosaurs. I mean, there's so many ways you could take it. And I thought it was interesting, like, they had the concept of the park actually being open.
yeah, true, yeah.
The stuff with the tourists being munched alive, that is fun. And they do make a good point. After a while, even with dinosaurs, people will get bored of it eventually.
But then they ignore the crowd. You know, the dinosaurs ignore the crowd. But it also sounds like the CGI was run amok a little bit in the middle there, or at the beginning.
It's been a few years since I watched it, so I don't remember how good the CGI was or how bad it was. But I do agree, the final battle with the T-Rex, the raptors, big raptor, that was a lot of fun. The reason I think it's the best is The Lost World Jurassic Park, the second one.
Yeah, yeah.
That movie is fucking grating because it turns into an animal rights movie.
Yeah, I remember that movie, yeah.
Yeah, where they try to argue that the dinosaurs need to be saved.
Jumping the shark there.
And Jurassic Park 3, while not great, I will give it this. It's not great, but it's fun. Like, it's only like 90 minutes, and it's simply about the people stuck on an island with dinosaurs trying to get out alive. I mean, it's not great because it's not complex, but it doesn't try to be overly preachy or bigger than it should be.
Right. So it sounds like this fourth one captured the magic of the first one the best.
Yes, as close as you could.
Yeah.
Some bad writing here and there, but it wasn't a terrible watch. There's a lot of people who think the portrayal of the female lead was very sexist or whatever.
I don't think that's just a Jurassic World problem, but
yeah, I never got that, and whatever they think there might be, like the closest thing is the pushing the idea that she has to have kids, but they never go too far, so
yeah.
it seems like just internet people getting upset for the sake of getting upset. And
It's a summer blockbuster, and that happens in almost every summer blockbuster. The marginalization.
And the last, the only other Jurassic Park sequel that I've seen is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. That came out 4 years ago.
I haven't seen that one either. No.
I saw it in the theater, and I will say this: it was the second movie. I've never done this, but Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom was the second movie in my lifetime that I've come this close to walking out on. First Jurassic World, I really enjoyed it. But the second one, getting anally raped by a whole prison gang would be more pleasant than rewatching Fallen Kingdom. I know that sounds pretty awful, but that movie was fucking unbearable.
For me, the one I've come the closest is Hoop Dreams. That was back in the 90s, but
The documentary?
yeah, terrible.
Last thing I'll say about the movie, for someone who hasn't seen it, Vincent D'Onofrio's character. His character, my friend Mike really liked. I think he liked Jurassic World, but Vincent D'Onofrio's character almost killed it for him.
Oh, really?
Because
You're a fan, aren't you?
yes,
Yeah.
but and he's a good actor, but his character, I admit, is pointless. That's the biggest problem with the Jurassic Park sequels. The humans are the main villains most of the time. The only sequel where the dinosaurs are the full-on villains is the third one.
When they're trying to escape, yeah.
Yeah, second one, the humans are trying to round up the dinosaurs and put them in a zoo. In Fallen Kingdom, they're trying to round them up and sell them to foreign countries to use as weapons. In Jurassic World, Vincent D'Onofrio is the security guy for the park, and he's an ex-military guy, and he wants to weaponize the raptors, give them to the military to fight like Al-Qaeda or something.
Plausible.
And my opinion is, it's a franchise about giant dinosaurs that eat people. Why do we need human villains?
They're filler.
Yeah, like the only time it was ever justified was in the first one with Wayne Knight as Dennis Nedry.
One of the best scenes, yes.
Yeah, because without him, the chaos wouldn't have happened.
Yes.
But beyond him, there is no point to have humans be the villains. And Fallen Kingdom, I'll get into it another day, but the trying to push the dinosaurs as misunderstood animals and they need to be protected plot is...
It's going back to the second one, yeah.
Yeah. Fallen Kingdom is basically the second one, but 10 times worse. It will make you just scratch the skin off your face. It is so awful.
Well,
But-
we know what to avoid.
So, I am both interested, but kind of scared of the new one that's coming out. Because all I want is a movie where the dinosaurs get off the island and rampage in America like Godzilla. I don't need a movie about humans trying to save them and push them as misunderstood creatures.
But so far, it's been about a 50-50 track record, so who knows?
We'll see. Anyway, we went on a tangent here, but You're a little mixed. I enjoyed it pretty much. Nostalgia Critic's reenactment review of Jurassic World. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
If you can give it nothing else, and it's worth watching at least once.
Sure. I will concur.
Cool. Anyway, hope you enjoyed our reaction, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
All right, enjoy.